Hey everyone, I'm Mariana and I am finally here with the top 10 of my favorite movies of 2019. It has been a really great year for film. We have gotten so many interesting stories, so many amazing performances, so many visually stunning films. I am so excited about every single film on this list. As it usually goes with these best of the year videos, let me just remind you that this is based on my personal preferences and your list is probably different. If there is a movie that you love that is not on this list, it's not because I forgot it. I did not forget about it. I know it exists. It's just because I loved these other movies more. Or I just haven't seen it, which is fine. Different opinions are a good thing because how boring would it be if we all had the same top 10 list? I would love to know what your top 10 looks like, so please leave it in the comments below and let's just all share our love for the art of film instead of fighting about it, because that's why we're all here, right? Because we love movies. Last thing before I start, I have reviews for most of the films that I'm going to talk about today, so if you missed those reviews and if you want to know more of my detailed thoughts, I will leave all of the links relevant to this top 10 in the info box below, so don't forget to check that out. All right, let's get into the list. Starting things off at number 10 is Knives Out, Rian Johnson's take on a classic murder mystery. This is one of the most fun films of the year, something that I think almost anyone would enjoy. You can watch it with your friends, you can watch it by yourself, you can watch it with your family. There is a wonderful all-star ensemble cast here with standout performances from Chris Evans, Daniel Craig, Ana de Armas, and Toni Collette. The story that revolves around family secrets and lies is engaging, suspenseful, there are plenty of twists and turns, but also a good amount of humor. Basically, Knives Out is very rewatchable, one of the easiest 2019 films to recommend, and just so entertaining. I had a really great time watching it. Plus, everyone's cozy sweater game is on point. Coming in at number 9 is Ad Astra. This one seemed to be a bit hit or miss for people. I think expectations had a little bit to do with that, but I personally really connected with it, and I think it's actually one of the most underappreciated films of last year. Ad Astra is moody and contemplative, and while it turns up the tension here and there, it's really all about the lead character's personal journey rather than about the thrills. Brad Pitt delivers one of the best performances of his career, the visuals are stunning, and the Max Richter score fits the atmosphere perfectly. I found this film to be spellbinding, and it really stayed with me for a while after watching it. So if slow burn, thought-provoking sci-fi is your thing, Ad Astra is definitely for you. For number 8, I am going with Little Women, which was my first experience with this story. I haven't seen any of the previous adaptations, I haven't read the novel, and I loved it. This was the last film I saw in theaters in 2019, and it was just such a lovely experience to end the year on. Greta Gerwig once again proves herself as a director and a writer to really pay attention to. She did such a wonderful job adapting this for the screen, and the performances and chemistry she gets out of the actresses playing the four sisters are such a joy to watch. Obviously, the cast is wonderful, and I am so happy to see Saoirse Ronan and Florence Pugh nominated for their work here. This film is so heartwarming, the story is timeless, the setting is so beautiful, and it really made me want to go back and actually watch those previous adaptations and read the novel, which is not something I had a lot of interest in before seeing this film. So yeah, I loved it. At number 7, I have my favorite documentary of the year, and that is Apollo 11. I was absolutely mesmerized watching this film, and when it ended, I was so sad that there wasn't more to watch. I could have easily watched another hour. What's interesting about this one is that they only use archival footage here, including some previously unreleased footage, but there is no narration, no reenactments, no modern interviews. The way this is put together just lets the footage speak for itself, and it works. This is the kind of documentary that truly transports its viewers. Epic is not a word I use often to describe documentaries, but it really feels appropriate here. I think this is an absolute must-watch for anyone interested in space travel, but also this is just a fascinating collection of historical footage that you don't want to miss. For number 6, I am going with Uncut Gems, the latest from the Safdie brothers, something you can still see in theaters, and you absolutely should because this film is relentless and it is such an effective theater experience. I did not expect to love Uncut Gems as much as I did, but between its distinct visual style, insane pacing, engaging story, and a fantastic performance from Adam Sandler, this is a film I am not likely to forget anytime soon. It's been a while since I've seen a dramatic thriller that worked this well while also being an impressively done film overall. A lot of people have been praising it and also describing it as a 2-hour anxiety attack. And yeah, all of that acclaim that this film is getting is very well deserved, and it absolutely is extremely anxiety-inducing in the best way possible. At number 5, I have The Farewell, easily one of the most heartfelt films of the year, one of those films that's going to make you laugh and cry, and one of those films that I don't think got the attention it deserved. Capturing a family dynamic in an honest way is already difficult to do, but the writer and director Lulu Wang also throws in generational and cultural conflicts in a way where all of the points of view feel valid. And while you may take a side on whether or not the grandma should be told she's dying, you completely understand the other perspective. Plus, Awkwafina as the lead and the actress who played the grandmother were absolutely robbed of Oscar nominations. They are easily some of the most memorable performances of the year. If you haven't seen The Farewell, do yourself a favor and watch this wonderful film. At my number 4 is Rocketman. I love this film so much. I love the music, I love the tone and style, I love the approach they took instead of just doing a paint-by-numbers biopic, and of course, Taron Egerton is fantastic as Elton John, another huge Oscar snub here. One of my favorite things about this film is how much it focuses on visualizing a feeling. Rocketman has these carefully sprinkled moments of magical realism that serve to show the audience what it felt like to be Elton John at that point in time. It's not something you see done often, and combined with the music, the film really excels at taking the viewers on a personal journey with the lead character. This is one of the films on this list that I have already seen multiple times, and it is just such a joy to watch every time. I love how memorable and emotional of an experience Rocketman is, and it is just a film that I am always in the mood for. All right, before I get into my top 3, I wanted to quickly talk about some honorable mentions. First of all, Midsommar. Ari Aster's second film does not disappoint, and it's definitely my favorite horror film of the year. Also, The Marriage Story, an absolutely devastating film about divorce with fantastic performances, made me want to check if Adam Driver is okay after filming this one. Finally, Honeyland, a very allegoric documentary about a beekeeper in the mountains of Macedonia that I didn't know how much I needed in my life. And I also wanted to mention 2 miniseries because I don't make a separate video for that. I am sure you can guess what those 2 are because I recommend them and talk about them as much as I can every chance I get, and I am of course talking about HBO's Chernobyl and the Netflix original When They See Us. Chernobyl is obviously very close to home for me, but aside from that, it's a brilliantly done, horrifying series based on real events and done with a lot of attention to details. And When They See Us, which is also based on real events and pays a lot of attention to accuracy, is a devastating story of of the wrongfully convicted Central Park 5. Both of these are an absolute must-watch. All right, let's go for that top 3, and I am not going to lie, 2 and 3 are so close for me. I have swapped them so many times trying to figure out which one is 2 and which one is 3. It kind of depends on how I feel on a given day, but I've made my choice for today, so here we go. Coming in at number 3 is Jojo Rabbit, Taika Waititi's brilliant satirical comedy set in Nazi Germany, where he himself plays a 10-year-old boy's imaginary version of Hitler. Only Taika Waititi could have made this film. This film doesn't necessarily sound like it should work, but hell yes, it does. It is so funny. It's really clever. It makes fun of the Nazis while still acknowledging the horrors. It's a film that's incredibly entertaining, but also very heartfelt and has these very unexpected moments of warmth and humanity. I was skeptical going into this, and if you are as well, I completely understand, but trust me, this film is a treat on every level, from the visuals to directing to writing to the cast. It's so much more than I expected it to be, and I loved it. As you may have suspected, this means that my number 2 is 1917, the World War I film I raved about in my most recent movie review. No, it's not just another war film. Yes, the one-shot gimmick absolutely works. 2019 was definitely trying to stress me out as much as possible with its end of the year releases, because 1917 is just 2 hours of pure stress. I know this is kind of a cliche thing to say, but it really does make you feel like you're on this dangerous mission with the 2 lead characters. The way this film is shot makes you feel like you're a part of the action and you're going to be at the edge of your seat the entire time. I obviously loved it. I am rooting for this film to win a bunch of awards. I am hoping a lot more people get to see it on the big screen. I am going to add it to my collection as soon as I can, and I'm also going to add the soundtrack to my collection, and I am looking forward to stressing myself out again at home. And Roger Deakins is obviously a god. And finally, at number 1, of course, I have Parasite. I knew this was going to be the film of the year for me before I was done with my first viewing. Sometimes when you're watching a film, somewhere in the second half, you just realize that this is going to be the film, that it doesn't matter that the year isn't over yet and there are a bunch of films coming out. It's over. It's done. This is the film, and that was Parasite for me. I don't even know what to say about Parasite at this point, because I am sure you've heard it all. Yes, it is that great. It's not just the best film of 2019, but also one of the best films of the entire decade. It's brilliant from beginning to end, the way it's shot, the way it's directed, the way it morphs from one genre to another, the meaning behind it, the performances, all of it. I watched it twice in theaters. I'm going to watch it who knows how many more times once I get the Blu-ray. This is easily the film that defined the year for me. And if you somehow haven't seen it yet, what are you doing? Don't be that person. Watch this film as soon as you can. And that's it for my top 10 favorite films of 2019. I could have included more, which is why I did honorable mentions. I don't usually do that, but I just felt like there were at least some films that didn't make this list that deserve being mentioned. This was easily one of the best film years of the past decade, and I am so excited to see what this new decade brings, but we really ended the 2010s on a good year. By the way, let me know if you want to see me do a video about the Oscars. I don't take them too seriously, but this year a lot of my favorites are actually nominated, so I am, for the first time in the past few years, actually excited to watch the Oscars. Probably will get disappointed, but not the point. I don't really do predictions, but I could do a video on my favorite picks of the nominees, who I want to see win, and maybe I'll contrast it with who I think is going to win. Basically, let me know in the comments below if you want to see a video like that and what kind of video would you like it to be. I would post that sometime closer to the actual Oscars, probably in the beginning of February, so let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you for being here, and an extra special thank you to the people whose names are on the screen right now. You guys are extra awesome, but I also just want to thank every single person for watching. If you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I will see you very soon in my next one. Bye.